Good morning. Welcome back into Wake Up America. I'm Rob Finnerty. So the trial date for former President Donald Trump in his D.C. federal case has been set for March the 4th. That date is important in electoral politics because the day after that, March the 5th, is a day we call Super Tuesday. 15 states will vote in either primaries or caucuses. It's a hugely important date if you're running for president, which Donald Trump is. And for whatever reason, nobody on the left, MSNBC, CNN yesterday, thought this was strange or unusual in any real way. Joining us now for legal analysis is former New Jersey Superior Court judge and host of the Judging Freedom podcast, Andrew Napolitano. Great to have you back on this morning.
Thank you, Rob.
Take me through it. I mean, how do you view this? Are you surprised by this?
Well, I am not surprised by it. The court takes the position that she must separate politics from what happens in the courtroom. And she said 3 times yesterday that Donald Trump will get no more or no less courtesy than an ordinary criminal defendant in a federal courtroom. Now, criminal defendants don't get that much respect, even though they are innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. But she is absolutely blind to the political realities of this. The legal realities are this, Rob. There are more than 1 million pages of documents, if you print them out, because they come electronically, that the federal government will soon be giving to Donald Trump's lawyers. That is an enormous amount of paperwork for them to read and analyze and examine and second guess. Between now and March 4th. They begged for more time, and the court said no. This will force Trump's lawyers to hire more lawyers so that human beings can read all this stuff. You can't just use a computer to punch in a keyword. You have to read every single page of every document that the government gives you in what's called discovery before you can even begin to prepare your defense.
So how would you handle something like that?
It's a major setback for Trump.
It's very unusual. Fine, Trump's a rich guy, so theoretically he can afford to buy more attorneys. But if you were on the bench and you had a defendant in a case like this who was not of means, didn't have the ability to hire 15, 20 attorneys, how would you handle something like that? Wouldn't the court date, the trial start date, be pushed back until both sides can really get their heads around the case?
Short answer is yes. I mean, the public policy of the United States of America and the public policy of every state is that trials should be decided on the merits. Can the government prove the defendant guilty beyond a reasonable doubt? Trials should not be decided on the court's convenience or the court's calendar or some artificial statement like, well, he's going to be treated just like everybody else. Well, he's not like everybody else. The case has 1 million pages of documents in it, and the lawyers have to be given a reasonable period of time in which to analyze every single page. But there's really no appeal from this. Technically, there's a means to appeal, but as a practical matter, appellate courts do not get involved in calendar issues.
Yeah, well,
so barring something unforeseen, this case is going to go in March of next year.
What's fascinating, too, is Jack Smith, the DOJ's had a long-standing policy of not getting involved in elections. If there's an actual case that's going to happen, they're not going to have a trial, when somebody is running for office. And they've done this for a long, long time. It goes back to Hoover when he ran the FBI. Here are some of the states that are going to be voting the next day after this trial begins. Alabama, Alaska, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Maine, Massachusetts, Minnesota, North Carolina, Oklahoma, and the list goes on, Judge. How is it not political to start a trial before all of those voters go and vote?
Well, it is political, Rob. The DOJ's regulation, and it's a guideline, it's not a regulation, says there should not be an indictment or a trial 90 days before and 90 days after an election day. Key point in the way they wrote this, election day, not primary day, but election day. So you're talking about the first Monday, the first Tuesday after the first Monday in November.
Right.
That's the way they'll get around it.
Yeah, I've heard that as well. Judge, I appreciate the analysis. I appreciate you breaking that down for us. A lot more questions for you, but we'll get to those as the week moves forward. Judge Andrew Napolitano, thank you.
Always a pleasure, Rob.